Greetings, all. It's Dr. Bankhead here at the Struggle in Thinking Out Loud. Yes, I've been posting several videos lately on various topics, and I've neglected to ask you to please like my videos, subscribe to the channel, comment and share the videos. I really like to read some comments. I haven't really received too many. Feedback is a wonderful thing. Anyway, now I'm going to do Who Was My Friend? Who the F was my friend? Part 18. So I promised I was going to talk a little bit about the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is an extremely difficult and painful period in one's life. And it usually follows the death of a loved one, the breakup of a marriage, severe illness. And during that period, you will experience very deep grief, sadness. Um, it's just a very very difficult time, and it seems that things come at you from other directions as well. So while you may be experiencing, I'll say, the brunt of the dark night of the soul following the death of a loved one. But while you're going through that grief of missing your loved one and the various thoughts that go along with that, like maybe there was something you could have done to extend their life, etc., etc. So you're having these thoughts, and while you're having these thoughts, simultaneously, other S is happening. So you're driving to work. You're like kind of here and kind of not because you still got that grief heavy on your head, and some idiot is out on the road driving like a reckless maniac, and I mean it's just like things niggling at you at the same time as you're going through this intense period of pain and suffering. The dark night of the soul is considered to be a stage of final and complete purification marked by confusion, helplessness, stagnation of the will, and a sense of the withdrawal of God's presence. Sort of brings it to your mind. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. It's that kind of thing. You're feeling intensely alone. There's no one that you can really understand what you're going through. You really find it difficult to talk about it. In fact, some tips to support you through a dark night of the soul include withdrawing from others, become a recluse, pull back, sit in solitude, and I say reflect. You know, people say meditate, and there's that label again because meditate, it has a definition, what you have to do to meditate. And then you try to do that, and while you're trying to do that, thoughts are going through your head. You're trying not to think those thoughts because you're trying to think of nothing, but every time you go to think of nothing, you're thinking of nothing, and then you're thinking of nothing. So you're still thinking. And it's like the hamster wheel. It just keeps going around and round. So I say reflect. You can sit and just be quiet. Quiet as in no additional noise at all. No animals scratching, barking, mewing. No children asking questions. No adults interrupting your quiet time. And no telephone or internet. No music in the background. No television in the background. Quiet. Complete, total, and utter quiet. You know, the quiet they refer to as it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. That kind of quiet. Yes. And my recommendation is to do it for about 5 minutes. Just sit and be quiet for 5 minutes. It's going to seem like a very long time the first time you do it. But you might get into the habit of doing it. You just sit and you just quiet for 5 minutes. And as you sit and you're being quiet, you will have thoughts that come through your head. And when the thoughts come through your head, you're not going to pretend that they're not there because clearly they are. You're going to decide if it's a thought that you want to, dare I say, meditate on, or a thought you just want to let go by. And here's how you make that decision. If it's a happy thought, if it's a thought that makes you feel good, if it's a thought that sort of gives you a little light feeling in your chest, if it's a thought that makes you excited, that's a thought you want to follow. And you can meditate. And when I say meditate now, I'm not talking about closing your eyes and breathing a certain way. I mean, just imagine that thought. Just entertain that thought. Just go with that thought and envision, let that thought grow and expand. Yeah, for 5 minutes. That expansion period is actually you getting in contact with spirit. That's you communicating with spirit and spirit communicating with you. And so I recommend doing that maybe at least one day a week, 5 minutes. That's it. And then perhaps after a week or two, you might decide to do 2 days a week. And then if you really like it, you can add additional days and you can add additional time. You can do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half an hour, and you are then in the realm of what people call meditation. But no, you don't have to close your eyes and pretend you're seeing something, nothing but blackness, and then pretend that you're going into the depths of the blackness, and then pretend that you see a screen on the depth of the blackness. But everything that you see, you don't see because you're meditating and you're not supposed to entertain any thoughts. That's just so confusing. Anyway, if you've not been successful with that method, try my method. It might be more successful for you. Anyway, that's a taste of the dark night of the soul. And what's important about that is if you ever desire to elevate, you want to experience the ease and joy that is yours to have in this lifetime, in this realm. If you would like to know what it's like to have the life of your dreams, I recommend that you work on elevating spiritually. All right, that's it. It's Dr. Bankhead at the Struggle Inn with Who the F Was My Friend, Part 18. All right. And I do like to say, although I've been forgetting it lately, that you should be grateful because you are fully great. All right. Have a great evening.